This is the Mrs. Roper show. Today, I should put on a moo-moo. I should put on a moo-moo and do this. Hi, Mamarazzi. Hi, Carrie's Collections. Hi, Fine Vintage. Hello, Thrifting with ADHD and Angela. Ashley, good morning. Good morning, Touch with by Autism. Hello, baseballcardstore.ca. Hello, Patty. How are you doing? Fragile. Timeless Treasures. And good morning, Loki, as well. Do you want to say hi, too? Okay, come up. You want to say hi? No, he just wanted this. Okay. All right, you go take your trump. Okay. It's like, Mom, I know what time it is. It's time to play with Trump. Vacation day, that's awesome. Megahertz, good morning. Hi, Thrift Mammy. Mia Vita, good morning. Arden, Batty for Deals, good morning. Good morning, everyone. DLS, Pistachio Cowgirl, how are you? Okay, it's still totally wet. I know, doesn't it look awesome? Thank you. I couldn't decide which glasses, but I don't have orange glasses. I need orange glasses to go with when I'm wearing orangey things. So, note to self: next time you buy glasses, I haven't bought new glasses in a long time, so maybe it's time. So big news is that weekly bundling, I said, I don't know how long it's going to last, the whole beta thing. They probably are going to wait a couple of weeks to, make sure there's no kinks, get all the kinks out of it. No, no, they didn't. It's available for everyone. Everyone can do it if you want. So I'm going to go over that. The other thing, DJE, good morning. Good morning, East Ender Resales. So it's available for everyone now. Hallelujah. This is going to be a game changer. Now, it is not for every seller. Not every seller is going to want to do this. So that's okay. I know you get weekly bundling and you get weekly bundling. How are you feeling, Leah? I still feel like complete poop, which is why I was late getting in the shower. And that's why I'm still totally wet. It's all wet under here. So we're just gonna keep it up for now. Y'all are gonna have to live. Voxwell, good morning. John Swaley, good morning. I don't normally look like this, honest. What is that? You know what that is? That's old stain from dyeing the kid's hair. Still sore with the cold. My finger probably needs stitches. We're just going to keep... Leah. I mean, you should just learn how to stitch, I guess. Thank you, EastEnder. You're so sweet. Yeah, it's a new beautiful fashion. It's the new style on Whatnot. FYI, with weekly bundling, you have to put your hair up like this. Boys and girls. Just saying. Anyways, weekly bundling is now available. There is a great FAQ on help.whatnot.com. Stitch away. I said groovy. Wow, I didn't say that right. Hi, I said groovy. I made it into hi said groovy instead. Loki, that's enough. You have your toy. Do you want to come up? Is that what you want? Oh no, you just want me to throw. He's very wet and gross. I don't really like touching it, Loki. Okay, so weekly bundling is available. I will go through it step by step. The other news is that Whatnot has a special coming in like 2 weeks. I can't believe Super Bowl Sunday is almost here. But every year they do something for Super Bowl because Super Bowl's big in the States. So every year they do something. This year it is 4% commission, so 50% off commission. 50% off commission. And it is February 7th and 8th. It is, you need to check your email, or when you go into your seller hub, you're going to see it. You're going to see it right here. You're going to see 4% commission, and you can click on that and you can hit learn more, and that will take you to the information. Okay. So it explains the timings, which is really important. It's for US and Canada. It starts February 7th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and ends February 8th, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it is anything you sell, items you sell between 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, February 7th, and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, February 8th, will be only 4% commission instead of 8% commission. Now, obviously, if I believe that the 0% commission for women's fashion still applies, so it's not included in this, obviously, because they're not going to like up the commission. You still have your 2.9% payment processing fee plus 30 cents. That's still there, but your commission is half price during this time. So it's basically Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time to Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time, February 7th and 8th. And make sure to sell between 12 and 5 if you can, because Super Bowl is at 5:30. I don't know, because I know absolutely nothing about. I know some things about football, but I don't know enough to care. Sorry to the football fans. But a lot of people will say that, oh, nobody's going to be on Whatnot because they're all watching the Super Bowl. I can guarantee you that there'll be a lot of people still on Whatnot during the Super Bowl. So once the special is over, still do shows. As Megahertz says, after 12 noon until whenever you want to on Sunday. If you want to run a show, like an anti-Super Bowl show, you want to do your own thing, run a show, because there are going to be people that are stuck at some party that they don't want to be at, and they'd rather get distracted by Whatnot. All the wives not into watching football will be on their phones buying stuff. So cater to that. Cater to the people who don't care about sports. Yes, and let's have our own party afterwards. But before, take advantage of that 4% commission. Vintage Buyback Kelly Irish says, one of my favorite buyers jumps on when her hubby is watching sports. Yeah. I mean, my husband and I now watch TV on 2 different floors because I cannot stand the stupid things that he watches. Like, I just, the world is in a place right now where I don't want to watch shoot 'em up, stupid or dystopian stuff. Like, the world as it is right now is already dystopian enough. I do not need to see another version of that dystopia. So I watch my British. I'd rather watch English people kill each other. So I watch murder mysteries. Actually, I'm currently on Australian murder mysteries. Murder with accents is my new thing. Yeah, because I got Murdoch Mysteries is all right, but the other ones are more interesting and less cheesy. And less eyeliner. Sorry. A lot less eyeliner. Maybe that's maybe that's where JD Vance got the idea for his eyeliner. Maybe he got it from Murdoch Mysteries. I wonder if he's a Murdoch Mysteries fan. We need to find this out. Is he a Murdoch Mysteries fan, and that's why he uses the eyeliner? Inquiring minds want to know. Okay, anyways, so that's the two important pieces of news for today. One, eyeliner. No. One, that weekly bundling is now available all across Canada to all Canadian sellers. So if you're a Canadian seller, what I need you to do is I need you to go to help.whatnot.com, or it's in your email. They sent you an email yesterday. So check your email. Sometimes it goes into a secondary folder if you use Gmail. So just search for Whatnot and it will pop up. And the email says, what does the email say, Kim? Let's find out where the email says. See, I have to search for Whatnot every time, even though I always Canada on Whatnot. Is this it? Introducing weekly bundling shipping in Canada on Whatnot. So they actually sent out 2 different emails, one to sellers and one to buyers. So check your email. If you're a buyer and a seller on Whatnot, you got 2 emails. One of them is your seller one, and one of them is your buyer one. So people who are only buyers on Whatnot just got one message explaining it to them. But here's the thing. People don't read their emails. So if you are a seller that is going to turn on weekly bundling, and that's totally up to you because there's logistics involved with that. First and foremost, turning on weekly bundling doesn't mean that you only ship out once a week. If your buyer opts out, um, then they're not going, you're going to have to ship like next day or within 2 days like you normally would. You can't wait until Sunday night, Monday morning to ship out. If you did a show on Monday and one of your buyers didn't select weekly bundling, you still need to ship out. So it's not a chance for you to only ship out once a week. It's a chance for your buyers to save money on shipping and come into your shows on a regular basis. Now, I was thinking about this. I said before that if you're a seller that only does one show a month or one show a week, and so you don't really think weekly bundling is for you, here's what I would say. If you're the type of person that might do a pop-up or might go on a raid train and so would have 2 shows a week instead of just one show a week, just turn on weekly bundling because one, I think that a lot of buyers are going to ask for it, even if you could say, I've got weekly bundling on, but I only do one show a week. But, I might do a pop up. I would say just turn it on. Turn it on because your buyers are going to start looking for it. Your buyers are going to start asking for it. Buyers were already asking for it in the last week, 2 weeks that they did a test run on this. Buyers were already asking for it. And so that's why I think that Whatnot advanced things so quickly and launched it for everybody is because people were saying, I want this. Where is this? How can I get this? So weekly bundling, as a seller, you need to turn it on. And what it does is it saves you time because it goes in one package as opposed to you doing like 6 or 7 packages. But you do need a space to safely put your items during the week so that you can do the weekly bundling safely and not have anything break. One of the things that I would suggest, and this is what I did, was after every show, even those items weren't going to be shipping until Sunday night, midnight, after midnight, so Monday morning, even because of even though I wrapped everything up and got it ready so that when Monday came, I just had to get up in the morning and start putting things into the boxes. I already had everything wrapped and everything labeled and everything ready to go. So it was just a matter of putting in the boxes as opposed to me doing an entire week's worth of sales, doing all the shipping for that would have been exhausting for me to do it just one day. But I have now changed my schedule so that Mondays are my shipping days, which leaves me open to. I'm going to push shows around and I'm going to do more show. I'm going to do like a second show on Tuesdays and Thursdays as opposed to just a chat show on Tuesday and Thursdays. Can people add to their weekly bundle box from items posted in my marketplace? As far as I know, yes. As long as they've got it weekly bundling turned on, if they buy from your marketplace, it will go into their weekly box. So if you go to help.whatnot.com, let me just see. There's an FAQ at, again, help.whatnot.com. And what you want to do, so it is no longer just select sellers in Canada. It is for all sellers in Canada. Weekly bundling is now available to you. So purchases made by the same buyer with the same seller throughout the week will be grouped into one shipment. Please note that in the other information about weekly bundling, there was a little bit of confusion where people thought that if there was a shipping adjustment at the end when a seller went to do their shipping, that your buyer would get charged for any extra shipping adjustment costs. That's not the case. That's not the way it works. Your buyer isn't going to get hit with another cost later on. If anything, you as the seller will pay for it. But I will tell you one thing after I read this. Bundles close on Sunday at midnight local time. So everything needs to start shipping on Monday. Hey, Collecto Cards, both the seller and the buyer need to opt in. So if the seller doesn't have weekly bundling turned off, you as a buyer can't do weekly bundling in that seller's show. If the you as a seller have weekly bundling turned on, but some of your buyers don't turn on weekly bundling in their wallet, then they're opting out. So both parties have to opt in to weekly bundling for it to work. And you as a seller can opt in by going to the seller hub, to shipments, and then to weekly bundling. When you go to your shipments, let me see. I don't have my laptop here. When you go to your shipments, you want to open up the sidebar. So when you go to shipments, it's just going to show you the information, and then it's going to have a little link on the right hand side near the top that's going to say open sidebar or something like that. Click on that, and then this sidebar will come up. This sidebar will come up, and you want to toggle on weekly bundling as a seller. Okay. Buyers, you can go in and turn on weekly bundling 2 ways. Hey, Beck, welcome in. We finally have weekly bundling all over Canada now. Woo-hoo! Everyone, please follow Beck, who's from Australia. It is the middle of the night there. I know, I'm so excited. So as a buyer, you can opt into weekly bundling either by going to your settings and then go to addresses and payment, and then you toggle on weekly bundling. Or when you're in a seller stream like mine, you're going to be starting shows soon. Everyone follow Beck. So go into the seller stream, a seller stream, you go to the wallet. So you can, if you haven't done this already, you can try it right now. Go to my wallet right over here, somewhere over here. And I want you to toggle on weekly bundling. It looks like that. Weekly bundling. Yeah, bring some of Australia's weather to Canada. It's summer there. So it is summer in Australia and winter here. Beck says, Australia has had weekly bundling for a while, and Beck says, weekly bundling has had amazing feedback from buyers and sellers. Hi, Louise. If you can, FYI, you can weekly bundle with sellers internationally in countries that have it. So you can bundle with Beck. Yes, exactly. So the places, if you go into an Australian show, a German show, an Austrian show, a UK show, or a Canadian show, you can weekly bundle with those sellers, which is so awesome. Because as a lot of us know, when we go into shows like in the UK or Australia, shipping is more expensive, but this makes it worthwhile, right? Because you can just keep buying throughout the week from that one seller. Beck says, as a buyer, you can also choose to opt out of weekly bundling. Yeah, so it's your choice. If you turn on weekly bundling, then you've got weekly bundling. If you don't go in and turn on weekly bundling, you don't have weekly bundling. But if you go into sellers a lot, you want to turn it on. If we turn on weekly bundling, if someone buys, do we have to wait to ship till Monday, even if you don't have any more shows planned? If you don't have any more shows planned and you don't have anything in your marketplace, because as far as I know, if you have stuff in your marketplace, so say you ship out before you close it before Sunday, but somebody buys something on Sunday morning from your store, then they're going to have to, that it's already shipped. So I would say to wait. But yeah, I would say to wait, because if you've got stuff in your marketplace, you could be missing out on sales that way. So my suggestion is you cannot bundle from American. Loki, leave them alone. No, come here. Get your Trump and go play. Where's Trump? No, come here. Come here now. Come on up. Okay. All right. Okay. I know you have to tell me something. I know. So my suggestion is start packing and get ready to ship, so that it's not that big a deal on Sunday night. You can have all your boxes ready to go, and then first thing Monday morning, away you go. But it's just my suggestion is to wait, because you're missing out on marketplace sales. There's that potential, right? The bigger Whatnot gets too. Whatnot's pretty small in Canada, but the bigger Whatnot gets, the more opportunities there are going to be for marketplace sales, because they're starting to advertise our stuff on Google and that. So it's a big chance. And for different countries, it will also depend on day, time zone. It's 2:38 a.m. Wednesday here if you're buying from Australia. Yeah, so it's local time. And it's midnight local time wherever you live. Franny Min says, what if our show's on Sunday night? It closes at midnight. So as long as, if you do a show and it goes over, like say you start a show at 11 p.m., all the stuff you sell from 11 p.m. till midnight goes in that week's box. Anything that you sell from 1 minute past midnight, which is technically Monday morning, that stuff goes in the next week's box, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. My brain. So L Cassidy had asked if you can bundle from American sellers. They have not brought it yet. Weekly bundling is not yet available in the United States. It was interesting. I was watching three sellers, including Green 13, Zoe's Treasures, and I can't remember the other one. I'm sorry. They did a YouTube live where they did a chat, a reseller chat, and it was great. It was great yesterday. And I brought up weekly bundling and said how exciting it was. And it's interesting because two of the sellers on there are big sellers who have like a lot of shipping to do. And for them, weekly bundling would not be of interest to them because the logistics of holding on to that stuff for a week is just too much for them. Hello, Love by Sandy. Can I ask about shipping profiles? Can the weight? Okay, I'll get to that. Love by Sandy. Yeah, hang on one second. Balak says if Canadians are buying on Saturday from Australians, your weekly bundling will end 12 a.m. Saturday for you, which would be 12 a.m. Sunday for us. Oh yeah, because it's like it's half a day. You're right. Nearly, yes, nearly, because it's 10:40 a.m. here in the basically Toronto area, Eastern Standard Time. I forgot to make a coffee. 13 with ADHD says that's my concern. Need an area to keep orders open for a week. So I just have bankers boxes, Leah. So I don't like set aside all. So what I did was I didn't wrap stuff up and then start creating boxes everywhere of like everybody's things. What, because I knew that, if somebody in the next show bought a ton of stuff, then I was going to have to rearrange the box. So what I did was I wrapped and labeled each one of them, sticky notes, so that I knew what was what. And then I just had that stuff set aside per show. And then I would go and look at my orders at the end, my shipments, and then just pick from those boxes for each person. So I kind of just did a stack of boxes. And bankers, FYI, bankers boxes are the bomb.com. You can get like boxes of 10 of them, sometimes on sale from Amazon. And that's what I do is whenever they go cheaper on Amazon, that's what I pick up. Will the status of that label change from shipped within 2 days if buyer and seller have opted into weekly bundling? So if you're in a show as a buyer and you buy one thing and then you go, oh, I'm going to turn on weekly bundling, then everything else in that show, all that stuff in that show, including the couple of things that you bought before you turned on weekly bundling in that show, will go into your weekly bundle. But say you didn't turn on, you went into a show on Monday and you bought some stuff, and then you went into a show on Tuesday and then you turned on weekly bundling in that buyer's show, the Monday stuff still has to go out. What it actually looks like is when you're looking at your shipments, it will actually say closes. I don't know if it's on here. Is it in the FAQ? It might be in the FAQ. Yeah. So it looks like this. It will say weekly bundling closes and then the date. So it will actually tell you the date. Weekly bundling was automatically turned on for us, so we had to opt out. Interesting, Beck. They've decided to make it so you have to opt in here. In our country and in the United States, there's a lot more where it's like you have to opt into things that are good for you. So Love by Sandy had a question. I'm new to Whatnot. Hello, welcome. Signed up a week ago. Can I ask about shipping profiles? Can the profile/weight be adjusted after the sale for a live show? So when you create your item, It's going to ask you for the shipping weight that you want. Use Whatnot's shipping weights. They're fine. The only thing that I say is that it's the weight of the item shipped weight. So think about it when it asks you what the shipping profile is, it isn't. So if I weighed this guy weighs like less than an ounce. So I wouldn't put him though at 1 to 3 ounces, because if I wrap him up and then put him in a box, it's going to be more like 6 ounces or maybe even 7 ounces. So I would put this at 4 to 7 ounces. This guy is 4 to 7 ounces. I wouldn't select 1 to 3 ounces because that's its raw weight. You got to think about its shipped weight. What is it going to weigh when it's all wrapped up and stuck in a box? Because boxes weigh, um, bubble wrap weighs, paper weighs, everything weighs. So you got to think about it that way. After you finish a show and you're about to ship, you go to your shipments at seller.whatnot.com and you make sure you put everything securely into a box. Make the box as small as you possibly can without compromising the safety of the items. And then you are going to weigh that, and then you're going to measure, and then you're going to edit your package before you generate your label. There's a button that you can press that says generate all labels after your show. It'll say generate. Don't do that. Don't do it. Edit your weights, edit your size, because Canada Post is going to reject if you just put it at the standard weight and the standard size. It's not going to be that. And you walk in with a box like this, and they're going to be like, your box is only supposed to be 13 centimeters by 13 centimeters. So edit the weight. You have 5 free adjustments. So if there's any difference between what the buyer paid for shipping and what the label is going to cost Whatnot to purchase it for you, if there's a difference in price where it's going to be more, Whatnot is going to give you 5 free shipping adjustments where you do not pay the difference. After that, you pay the difference. But I will talk about in a second about my experience with weekly bundling. So after the sale, you do adjust your weights, but try to be on the higher side rather than the lower side. Don't think, oh, I don't want my buyer to pay too much for shipping, so I'm going to put it at a lower weight. That ends up putting you at risk for more shipping adjustments. And it's just not reality. It's just not reality. And the cost difference for a buyer of an item that weighs 1 ounce versus 10 ounces is so slight when you add the second item in. Oh, thank you for the tip. You were awesome. I would suggest not to. Okay, let me just talk quickly. I will get to all of your stuff in a second. Good morning, Vintiquity. Beck says, one suggestion I would make for those selling clothing material items, some Aussie buyers have been dissatisfied with sellers squeezing in too much. Hey, drip blocker, how are you? And it all comes creased and not packaged. Yeah, package in the most secure way. And if you are a fashion seller selling high-end fashion, then you want to package it like it's a boutique. You want to have that boutique feel, especially if they paid boutique prices. Melody says, I buy these plastic pockets for clothing. I find it's helpful as it flattens everything down. It seems like that's all you do. Drip blocker, you're doing amazing. Drip blocker, you already have your wings. Why does it say I'm not following you? Drip blocker already has their wings. They have 2.5K sold, and they already have their Premier Shop wings. So congratulations. That is awesome. October Moon says, my first show I used Chit Chats. I forgot to add more weight on anything. No one charged me anything? Does Chit Chats not care? You were lucky. You got through the system. But Chit Chats does do chargebacks, and for their regular customers, they do chargebacks if it's heavier or bigger than what the label says. They do chargebacks, and that will end up coming onto Whatnot, and Whatnot will pass those costs on to you if you keep doing it. So I would recommend never do it again. Yeah, you got lucky this time. Drip blocker is legend. Thank you, Beck. So October Moon, when you go to your, so when it just says generate labels, that's the problem. And Louise, this is a problem. People are clicking generate labels, that yellow button, and not bothering to actually do anything. And this is happening in the States too. It's happening everywhere. I did miss Megahertz fashion show last night. It was probably another epic one. Um, so you go into seller.whatnot.com. You can do it on a browser on your phone. And what you want to do is go over to, there's a little button that it looks like, it's a little edit button. It looks like a pencil. You click on that and then you can edit your dimensions and weight. Drip Locker says this community was a huge reason we took off and succeeded. Canada is so amazing. Well, you're so amazing, Drip Locker. Congratulations again. I mean, also 2.5K sales and you're already at Premier Shop. That is like, you are bringing epic stuff to the market. You are bringing the good shit. You're bringing good stuff to the market and people are obviously liking it. Beck says, I love it. I'm so excited when a Canadian comes into one of our Aussie shows. You know what we need to do, Beck? We need to do a raid train. That's like maybe we call it the colonies or something. The Commonwealth. Maybe we do a Commonwealth raid train with like all like UK and Australia and Canada. That would be so much fun. That label no longer says ship within 2 days, so it's updated for the weekly bundling. So you still need to ship out in a fast way for anybody who hasn't selected weekly bundling, but if they have selected weekly bundling, it will show you that. Okay, so let me tell you about my experience. Last week, I didn't do as many shows as I want to because I got sick, and life gets in the way. So I had 94 items sold. Actually a little bit more than that. Like 100 items. No, 94. 94 items sold in the week. Of that 94 items, I had 1, 2, 3. Most of the people, like, I had 12 shipments that were weekly bundle shipments. I had a couple of local pickups, and I had 2 people that I had to ship out right away. No big deal. Co-host would be a great idea, back. So I had 94 items. Now, I was totally freaked out and worried that I was going to need to do all those 12 would end up being shipping adjustments. I was really worried about that. It didn't work out like that. I always put my weights higher because I know about shipping adjustments. So I put my weights higher, as I always do. I make sure that they are not like under at all. And I had of those, I had 7 shipping adjustments. So I paid for only 2 shipping adjustments. So out of 12 weekly bundled packages plus the 2 that I sent out earlier, I only had 7 shipping adjustments, which is not bad at all out of 14 shipments. I know that's half, but I added it all up. I added up all the shipping adjustments and how much it would have cost me if I had to pay for all those shipping adjustments, even though I didn't have to pay for all those shipping adjustments. And it averaged out to less than 25 cents per item that the shipping adjustments would have cost me if I had had to pay for all those shipping adjustments. It ended up being like way less than that. It was, let's see, it was like $3.50 plus $2.85 equals divided by 94 items, 7 cents. 7 cents an item. So if you think about it, if you think about shipping adjustments as a cost of doing business, then it is such a low cost of doing business that I'm not worried about cutting into my margins by continuing to use Whatnot's regular shipping profiles. I'm not worried about, I don't like the default box size of only 13 centimeters. I will still lobby for that to get changed, but because I think that it scares off people. But it was it only cost me 7 cents per item that I sold. Okay. That's that's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, right? So that was times 94. So $6.35. $6.35 is basically all it cost me. Not that big a deal if you're selling in volume like I am. If you're not selling in volume, then it's going to be way less than that, right? I sold 94 items. So it's going to be less than that for you. Okay, I'm going to scroll back up because we've got lots of questions here. Perryont, hello, says, thoughts on mini shows. I'd like to try my hand at this, but do not have the storage area for a lot. Small shows are great, and you don't have to do weekly bundling if you don't want to. If that's like a worry for you, just don't turn it on, and just as you finish a show, ship it out, do the next show, ship it out. I will say that longer shows tend to sell more and make more money. But if you only have time to do half an hour here and there, then do that. Do whatever works best for you. Rowdy Roddy Collectibles, what an awesome name. My Melody says, my advice is to reserve Mondays for shipping because you have to have it out by Tuesday. Yes, I totally agree. If you can, but if all of us do that, then there's going to be nothing happening on Monday. So if you do your pre-shipping, so package everything up and get it ready to go, it's going to take you no time at all on Sunday night or Monday morning to throw everything in the box for each person. It won't take you that long. It took me, because I had done all that pre-work on Monday morning, it took me, and I wasn't feeling well, it took me less than an hour to do all like 12 boxes, 90 odd items. It took me less than an hour because I already had everything ready to go. All I had to do was just find the right size box and put everybody's stuff in the right box. Solace Creation says, I have a question. How will I know how much it will cost for the weekly bundle? As a buyer, as you buy items, it will tell you what the next cost is to put that item in your box. Same as before. It's no different. It's just that the box stays open for the entire week, as opposed to when you buy like 10 things in one show. It gets shipped out, and then you have to pay the next show you go to. You have to pay that first item charge of like $12, $15, whatever. And then the extra. So it's just going to stop. You're not going to have to pay that first initial cost for the box. Basically, you're paying for the box. Once you've broken your shipping with your first item through the entire week, it's just going to, as the weight increases per item, they will charge you a little bit. So as a seller, you're not going to know. You're not going to know until people buy the stuff. And then you do your shipping, what your shipping adjustments are going to be. If your weights are higher, you're going to have less shipping adjustments. If you make sure that your weights are not too low, you're going to have less shipping adjustments. But again, I did 94 items, and it only cost me, because of the 5 free shipping adjustments, 7 cents per item, which I think is a decent cost of doing business. And just think of it as a cost of doing business. If your business, it's a write-off. It's that amount that you paid is a write-off. You can put that down on your taxes because it's money you didn't make. It was a cost of doing business. Megahertz says, I just started to do 1 hour to an hour and a half shows, and makes great for me personally for all the items I have. You do you. Exactly. Make Mine Beautiful says, I have a buyer whose name is written in a different language, and Whatnot lets her buy but will not give me a label. I now have 2 packages to send, and Whatnot is okay. So I would suggest Make Mine Beautiful that you send a message to seller support at whatnot.com. Make sure you give the buyer's name and all the order numbers, and then ask them for help with the label, and even put like, here's the issue. Do screenshots, show them screenshots of how what the error message is that you get. Give them all of that information. The more information you can give them, the faster they're going to be able to take care of your problem. And if you get an answer that like is not, sometimes what not support is not listening. I said it the other day to some friends. They're like my ex-husband. They don't listen. That you think it goes in one ear, as my father used to say, it goes in one ear and out the other. So sometimes they aren't listening to what you're saying. They don't listen. So you just have to repeat yourself. Repeat yourself. Don't give up. Respond and say, thank you for your reply, but that's not what I meant. I apologize for the confusion. Let me try to explain it again. That's how I do it. I make it passive aggressive. I apologize for the confusion. Let me try and explain it to you again. Beck says a lot of sellers in Australia who do weekly bundling stay on until midnight Sunday. I love that. And do speed runs for the last 30 minutes of the shows, and it's increased their sales. I can imagine. That would be so much fun. Like doing sudden death, like every 10 seconds, another item, and just going boom, boom, boom. People love that. People love that fun. So Melody, it needs to be out. It needs to be out quickly. It needs to be out quickly, but it's still 2 days. And remember, it closes at midnight on Sunday. So the clock starts at midnight, 1 minute past midnight. So if you get it out on Wednesday morning, that's not so bad. Let me just go back to that FAQ. Louise, you can say otherwise if you want. If you're still here. What happens if a buyer buys in? Does the weekly bundling? What countries are eligible? Oh yeah, so countries are eligible for buyer opt-in are Germany, Australia, Austria, New Zealand, Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Canada. But not the UK. What's up with that? So your ship time is calculated on the close. So your ship time starts at 1 minute past midnight on Monday morning. So basically, as soon as Sunday is over, 1 minute past midnight, that is when the clock starts for you to start doing your shipping. So 2 days would be Monday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday at 1 minute past midnight on Wednesday. So if you want to keep your ship times good, then you would want to get it out on Monday or Tuesday. Okay, so I think okay, let's see. It's one that news I'm going to now do my shipping because Kim says yeah. Terry Hughes says 13 centimeters per item or bundled package. It's a default size. It's a default size. That doesn't mean you have to fit everything into a 13 centimeter box. When you go to ship, you edit it. You edit and put the correct dimensions. And you get 5 free shipping adjustments. So if the label costs extra money that the buyer only paid $10 and the label's going to cost $12, you get 5 free shipping adjustments. Yeah, Collecto Card says go live Monday, less shows. Peacock Jewelry says all my shows are all on Mondays now. Beck says it tells you, so I think after 3 items shipping becomes free. In Canada, it's dimensional weight, so it just keeps increasing a little bit. So sometimes you have a lightweight item and it's not going to push it to the next category. So it all depends. Alex from Storage Share says we usually spend 2 hours for shipping and we have the randomest stuff to pack. If you have an area set up, but again, if you want to do weekly bundling and you're going to do multiple shows, I recommend doing your packaging, your wrapping and everything after each one of your shows. Just make sure you label the outside of it so you know whose is whose. That way, when it comes time to do your shipping on Sunday night or Monday morning, you're just going boom, boom, boom into the box. Megahertz says, I have a friend that sells on Victoria Island, and every show they can't print out the labels, support prints them for her every time. That is a little bit weird. I wonder if it's something to do with their address, their return address. I would suggest testing out changing the return address to like the post office, the local post office, and see if that works. It is really weird. It's probably an address thing. Franny Min says, does your marketplace item stay in your show? So Franny Mins, if you put your items that are in your marketplace into your buy it now in a show as well, then they're in your show. But otherwise, you have to put them. They don't automatically, stuff that you have in your marketplace store on Whatnot doesn't automatically go into your shows, into your buy it now. So that's why you'll see in some of my shows, I have like my Blue Mountain pottery and Canadian pottery is in those shows. And other times I've just got pins and stuff in my shows. I decide what's going to go in. Ooh, Beck says some sellers have a light up countdown digital clock showing the countdown to midnight. Just adds the excitement. I love that. Terry Hughes, I sell on the P word, but I'm trying to get started on Whatnot, but the shipping part feels so daunting. It seems daunting. It is not daunting. Definitely tune into our shows on Friday. Melody Cohn and I do an awesome series right now. Melody picks the guests and we talk to fashion sellers who are also on the P word. Some of them are also on the P word. And we talk to them. Eastender Resales is in here. She's an amazing. Everyone who's a fashion seller, wave your hands so that Terry can follow you. They're all doing it on Whatnot and killing it on Whatnot. Drip Lockers killing on what. There are so many people who are killing it on Whatnot. And fashion is right now has a special promotion, so you're going to get 0% commission. I don't know when that ends. Thank you, Auntie Jane. Records from the Six says, is this new bundling option for all or just Canadians? It is for Canadians and not for Americans. It is, I don't have it memorized yet. It is Australia, Germany, Austria, Canada, Japan, New Zealand, Hong Kong, and I want to say Taiwan. Those buyers. But not the US yet. But I assume that it will eventually come to the US. I do need to get my coffee. Do you have any Hi Q Gem says, do you have any tips on setting box sizes for weekly shipping? Hi Q Gems, I just stuck with Whatnot's defaults and used Whatnot's shipping profiles, and I'm going to continue with that. It's just simpler. It's simpler, and the cost for me wasn't high. The cost for me was not high. I did 94 items and I had I used up my 5 free shipping adjustments, and then I only had 2 shipping adjustments, and I had 12 weekly bundles to go out. One of my shipping adjustments got eaten up by one of the sales in between, but that I had to ship out right away. Rebecca's Relic says, Terry Hughes, I didn't start on Whatnot because I thought that too about the shipping, but don't worry, it's not that bad. Full tilt CCC says, so you just pause your show and start again. That's not ideal. Sorry, what did Perry say? Is that? I missed that. Beck says, do you have a pickup option? Yes, we have local pickup. If so, please be careful. We have a couple scary things that happen to sellers. Yeah, local pickup is available. I always suggest that your local pickup is not at your home address, that you pick like a central location, like a police station. De-archivist meets people at the FBI office, if that's not intimidating. So it's up to you. I have it that you can go to the local post office or to the antique market. Yeah, Auntie Jane, the US doesn't have it yet. It was tested first in Australia, Austria, and Germany. They were the first guinea pigs for it, and then it's just been introduced in Canada and the UK. They're testing it. Yeah, the US sellers miss out, but they're so huge, right? It's such a huge part of Whatnot that if there are any kinks to work out in it, it's better that these smaller countries work out the kinks before the US market comes in, because holy cow. Auntie Jane says, "I hope the bundle code never comes to US." You can opt out of it. So a lot of sellers aren't going to use it in the US. I mean, Green 13 and I can't remember the other one. Like said yesterday, like he's not going to use it. He's not going to use it. It's not going to work for his business model. Vintage Buyback Kelly Irish, thank you for the tip. You are awesome. Thank you so much. I love you. Everyone, please follow Vintage Buyback Kelly Irish. So yeah, and if you're now that there's weekly bundling, you don't need to start a show and then pause it and restart a show. Just do just do you. Just do another do another show, do another pop-up. You don't have to use the restart feature anymore. In fact, it wasn't meant for that. The restart opt feature of Whatnot was meant for if you're in the middle of your show and suddenly your phone dies. Or you get a call and there's an emergency and you got to go pick up the kids from school, so you have to end your show and then you're going to come back on in a few hours. That's what it's meant for. It's not meant to like extend your show. Now that we have weekly bundling in Canada, we don't need to use that anymore. Nana's Nifty Thrifty says, "So excited to try it." Yes, me too. War Martin says, the US sells a lot for $1 starts. Can't afford to do $1 starts in Canada. I think that, I mean, I have to stop doing it. Last week I did $1 starts and I'm going to have to stop doing that. I have to get into the habit of not doing it. And yeah, let's just confuse the buyers more. I think it's going to confuse the sellers more because Auntie Jane, because US shipping is a whole different, it's just a whole different thing, right? So some shipping I've seen is $35.96 for small items. It's really not feasible. Perion, I don't. You mean for Canada or for Australia? Very hesitant to turn on international shipping. I don't get it. I've been Whatnot for years. I buy from all around the world. They have the option to not turn it on. What? No, just ship. I mean, if people are willing to pay the money, I mean that's the thing in Canada. Whatnot Canada, when we first started, shipping was so much higher than the US, and people were like, I'm not buying from Canada because it's way too high. But I think that it's what the item's value is. And so how many of you have bought off of eBay? And how many of you have paid an exorbitant amount of money? Like there wasn't free shipping. Tim Horton says just did. I go into the Bay and I remember someone said, Whatnot shipping is too high. I can't sell my VHS tapes because Whatnot shipping too high. I'm just going to stick to eBay. So then I went and looked at their eBay. And I was like, that's interesting because your shipping charge that you're charging someone on eBay for one item is more than Whatnot. And if I want to buy 2 or 3 items from you on eBay, you're going to charge me way more for shipping. So yeah, you know what? you go ahead and keep selling on eBay because you think Whatnot's shipping is too expensive. Good luck to you. Terry Hughes says, yep, if there's something I'm looking for that I really want, I'll get it on the Bay and pay the expensive shipping. Yeah, $20 shipping on the Bay. I mean, I buy stuff when I need something very specific for like fixing one of our machines, like our tractor or something. I may have to buy it off of the Bay somewhere in the States, and it's gonna charge a lot. So here you have an open box. When you go into a show, your first item is a little bit more expensive, but the items after that, So I'm sure it's the same in Australia. If you were to buy from Australian show, your first item may be $34 to buy the shipping box, but then after that you can add so much more in. So it's that first initial cost that scares some buyers away, but at the same time, if you want stuff, you're willing to pay. Nana's Nifty Thrifting says, sold to a US buyer and sent her a message. Are you sure message? She thanked me. She didn't know about the extra fees. Yeah, a lot of buyers buy a lot of US buyers are coming into shows, and even though that little warning is popping up, they're not understanding it. They think, a lot of people are honestly thinking that that warning label comes up, but that the price they see for shipping is all in, and it's not. Yeah, and the brokerage fees are an issue. However, Canadian sellers, there are lots of American buyers out there, but there are now way more Canadian buyers on here. So it's a totally different thing. Arkansas has decided it is Canada or Alaska now. I've been frozen inside my house for days. I'm sorry, Mary. I had a friend send me, I don't know, Mary, if this is happening in your area. I'm sorry that you're so cold. Layers. Put on layers. Lots of layers, and make sure you put on something on your head. This is because my hair is still wet. Put something on your head and make sure your feet are nice and warm. But one of my friends who's in Indiana showed me that there are people in the United States who are claiming that the government is trying to poison them with this snow, and it's not actually snow. It's some sort of plastic ball material, fake snow, and that if they try to burn it, it just turns black. When they use a lighter and try and burn the snow, I'm not kidding. I'm not. I hope that you are safe, because if that's happening in Arkansas, they're dropping rabies treats. What? Rabies vaccine? They're no longer doing rabies vaccine. What is going on in us in Texas? It is snow. Okay, Mary, I'm glad to hear that. And what I don't understand too is that um the people who are saying this stuff are the red hat tinfoil people, and they're saying that the government is doing this, but I thought they voted in a government that they like. So I thought they voted for this guy because he was going to, that they wouldn't have to worry about this. So who's government? Who's the government that making the fake plastic snow? Just asking. But yeah, is the US okay? Dear US, we love you and we hope you're feeling better. And if you need a support Canadian, a comfort blanket Canadian, let us know. That sunburnt fuel. Yeah, yeah, it's from the light, exactly. H Badway says 49% of people can vote against a person, but they still govern. The thing is that no, okay, this is my little thing. Every election in the free world, almost every election in the free world, the actual party that wins each time with the most votes is the apathy party. The apathy party is getting a bigger and bigger margin of votes because people don't bother to come out. They don't come out to vote because they say, "Oh, I don't like either candidate." Well, no, I'm sorry. You got to pick. You got to pick. You have to vote. People died. People died to get you the right to vote. And if you're a woman and you don't think that other women didn't die to get you the right to vote, then you haven't looked at the suffrage movement and the suffragettes. So, the apathy party wins every single time. And when people say, I don't do politics, I'm like, oh, so you don't use electricity, you don't drive on roads, you don't use water, like you don't have any water, you don't drink water even from a well, because that also is regulated. Like, You don't go to the grocery store, you don't buy anything. Like, are you in some sort of little bubble? How did you get onto the internet? How did you get a phone service? Oh, everything is affected by politics. Um, Healthcare alone is a good enough reason to vote, says Terry. Like, yes, let's protect our universal healthcare and stop this two-tier system that is getting more and more. And I was a Tory. I was a I was a political hack. I was an organizer for the Tories. I'm at fault. I'm at fault. Mea culpa. And the thing is that this stuff that's happening down south, I remember, quick story, and then we'll get back to whatnot. In 1993, and some of you may not have been born yet, in 1993, I was volunteering for the campaign for Darcy Keene. Good old Darcy. Hope you're doing well. The twins are probably like in their 30s now. And Darcy was the PC candidate for the federal election. And we had these volunteers from the Scarborough the PC Youth Association from my riding, Scarborough East. Two of them came to the campaign office at night in full winter dress, full Yahtzee winter dress. The greatcoat, like very similar to what Greg Bovino's been wearing. The greatcoat, the hat, the gloves, the pants, the shirt, the everything. They were cosplaying, and they walked into the campaign office at night. And my dear friend Bruce, who is a very principled man, lost his mind on them and kicked them out. But at the time, there was an organization called the Heritage Front, and they were part of that Heritage Front. And that was in the name Heritage Front is way too similar to Heritage Foundation in the United States and has similar ideals. But these guys love to cosplay being a Nazi, and it was like, there were way too many of those type of people hiding within a party that did not espouse those views, but they were there and they were volunteering and they were going to conventions and they were slowly turning the tide towards what we see now in that party. It took decades to happen, but they made it happen. And so I got out. I stopped volunteering way over a decade ago. Couldn't do it anymore. Yeah, there's a very huge difference between, and you don't have to like Stephen Harper. I met him a couple of times. He did the once over on me. He did the look up, look down to assess my clothing, my outfit, which was very interesting. Anyways, there's a big difference. There's Jean Charest was my man. Jean Charest was my man. Say what you like about him too, but he was more my type of politician. Him and Eugene Whalen. Look it up. Eugene Whalen, who is a liberal. Beck asks, thank you for getting me back to it. Full Tilt CCC, you need to turn on weekly bundling as a seller if you want it, and you also need to turn it on if you're a buyer. You go to the wallet over here, and then you can toggle on weekly bundling. But as a seller, you need to turn it on. And you can find out more information at help.whatnot.com. Also, there's an email that you received yesterday. Beck asks, can I ask what Canadian sellers would like to see Australian sellers sell and what giveaways? Interested as US people have strong opinions. Well, that's interesting. Like, let me see. Beck, let's look at do you have a little bio? Let's see. Please hold. Boop. Boop. Coming in. Hang on. Thinking. Okay, it's not showing me. You're starting your own brand. I have to jump to, if anyone has any weekly bundling questions that haven't been answered, please let me know. If you have weekly bundling questions, yell them out right now. Because Louise is here. He is awesome. I'm going to mod you just in case you want to. Did it do it? I don't know if it did it. It's not giving me allow to moderate. It won't let me. For the love of all things holy. Allow to moderate. Yes, there we go. So if you want to make any announcements or anything and pin anything, let me know. Beck says she's starting her own brand. So definitely, if you have weekly bundling questions, ask them now. Whatnot Louise is in the house and will be very happy to answer your questions. Mom first, faith led, community over competition, true to my morals. People in community come first for me. I have a strong business background and years on Whatnot supporting U.S. sellers. Shapes who I am. Next year, I plan to step into selling, building a purpose led brand with heart. So what I would say back is, I would say, what do you love? What do you love to sell? And that's what's going to resonate. Don't worry, you're going to get 50 million opinions, but what do you love? What do you love to buy? What do you love to talk about? If you're doing fashion, what's in your closet? Buy what you love. Buy what you love, sell what you love. So I would say, what do you love? Oh my gosh, I think my hair is getting and Whatnot Louise is answering some questions, so I am going to quickly read out what he's saying. Dom asks, can seller choose their weekly bundling to be longer than a week? And the answer is no, only 1 week for everybody. I like Jack too, Terry. I met him a couple of times. Hi, Q Gems. If you have a Sunday show that goes past Monday and past midnight into Monday, will all the purchases be bundled or does it cut off at midnight? And Whatnot Louise says, cuts off at midnight. Any orders after midnight will open new bundles and buyers would pay shipping again. Yeah. So what Beck says in Australia, what a lot of sellers do is that they will sell all the way up till midnight and they have like a countdown clock. And for the last 30 minutes, they do really fast shows. It's the seller's midnight. Haiku Gems asks, is that midnight for the seller or the buyer's midnight? It's seller's midnight. Beck says, I want to bring artisans to the forefront. I love that. It's Sunday, seller's local time, midnight Sunday. So that is like the last second of Sunday before it becomes Monday. That's it. That is midnight Sunday. So if it's 12:01 a.m., then so basically it's 12 a.m. Sunday. Not 12:01. You're into Monday, and that is a new box, a new week, a new box. All right. Any other questions for Whatnot Louise about weekly bundling? He used to be our contact for Canada, but he's now been promoted to doing all kinds of other things, including exciting features like weekly bundling and getting that rolled out. And it's just awesome. You're awesome, Louise. What Louise says, and don't forget that as sellers now, if you run a giveaway and it lands on a buyer with weekly bundling, then they get free shipping for the week. Yeah. So that's one thing to encourage people is like get in on that giveaway because it's going to unlock your shipping for the rest of the week. And you just pay a little bit more to put each box in there. So another reason to motivate your buyers to turn it on. Yeah. Before you run a giveaway, remind people and teach people to go into their wallet and turn on weekly bundling. So if they win the giveaway, they've unlocked their shipping for the week. It doesn't mean that shipping is free for the rest of the week. It just means that first initial cost is there. HiQ Gems asks, if a buyer bundles and partway through the week and then wants to have their shipment sent out early, does the buyer have that option? Whatnot Louise says, if a buyer wants their package early, you are not obligated to accommodate that. But if you want to ship out earlier for them, then just generate their label and that'll close their bundle so you can ship. Yeah, perfect. So if you want to do that for a buyer, you can. But then if they come in later and the next day and then start buying again and then complain to you that they're paying for another box, well, they told you to close their bundle. Thank you, Whatnot Louise. Beck says, so sellers should announce that in their shows so internationals or different time zones know when your weekly bundling time is about to finish. Yeah, that's a great idea. Put in your show notes that my weekly bundle closes at midnight Eastern, Sunday, midnight Eastern Standard Time, or whatever your time zone is. Put that in. That's a great idea, Beck. I'm going to add that. Note to self, I need to do that. Speaking of buyer's giveaways, only valid for a specific show or for week shows they've bought into. I I think that it's still the show. That's a good question. So Whatnot Louise, if someone does a buyer's giveaway in a show, is it just, it's still just for that show? It's not for someone who's got a weekly bundle box open? I assume it's just for that show. Okay, yeah. So it's still just for a buyer's giveaway is just for buyers in that show, not all of your weekly bundle buyers. Thank you. Mary Lex has been wondering how bundling worked. Yeah, and you can find out more information by going to help.whatnot.com. Yes, Shauna. So it would end at midnight for you. It would end an hour earlier than it does for me because it starts for you at 1 minute past midnight on Monday, Atlantic Standard Time, and ends Sunday at midnight, Atlantic Standard Time. So yeah, it is the time zone of the seller. So for Nuria, it would close on midnight Pacific Standard Time, which is 3 hours after me, 4 hours after you. Yeah, Victory says, I am last. Yes, you are. Woohoo! Oh no, I'm back. I'm just here to help out my friends. Everybody here is a friend. That's the thing that I love. And if Antiquity says, and I have my shows on Sunday. How perfect is that? How perfect is that? Sunday show, keep selling, do what they're doing in Australia. Have a countdown. Shauna's Treasures Art says great opportunity for last hour raid trains. Yeah, like let's start doing raid trains on Sunday that go to midnight, like that each one of the sellers, you could do it for, gosh, you could do it for 4 hours. You could have like a last hour. That would be so much fun. A weekly last hour raid train. That would be really cool. And you try to sell as much as you can. Tammy says, do all sellers have weekly bundles and how do you know? All Canadian sellers have weekly bundling available for them. Check your email. There's a great email that's come from Whatnot yesterday. And you can also go to help.whatnot.com to find out a little bit more. Haiku Gem says the box size makes me a bit nervous, but this will be our trial week for bundling. Thank you, Whatnot Louise and Kim. So yeah, so I stuck with Whatnot's defaults. I didn't use a custom shipping profile. I stuck with Whatnot's defaults. And Haiku Gems, it was $6.34 it cost me, and I did 94 items. Hey, Dave from Alberta, you are not fired. Hello, how are you, Dave? How are things there? All right. What's the temperature where everybody is? Allowed to moderate? There we go. Whatnot Louise says, highly encourage everyone to trial for a week. You can always turn it off if you decide it's not for you. Yes. Haiku Gem says, we sell gemstones and crystals, so things get very heavy very fast. Make sure that your the shipping profile you choose for each item is the weight, is the weight or higher than the weight of the item when it's shipped. Box weight max is 55 pounds. I've sent out a 70-pound box. I've gone all the way to like the absolute max. And I think if I'm correct, Louise, if the box was to go over the maximum weight, it would create a new box. I think Canada Post won't accept. They've taken mine. They take mine. The one I'm shipping out today, like there's 17 heavy books. It doesn't weigh as much as 70 pounds, but Beck says, I've naturally become the go-to person for Aussie sellers. They are finding they're not getting email support at all from Whatnot Australia. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. They should try seller support at whatnot.com for sure. Yeah. So yeah, Whatnot Louise says if a buyer keeps buying enough that they go over the weight, then if you go so big, it creates a new box and that'll start a new label. So if your buyer does buy over the max weight. Shop with Danny says, so I'll be constantly reminding people to turn on the weekly bundling during my shows. Should I just wear a hat that says turn on weekly bundling? Yeah, or like something like this. Hang on. Weekly bundling now available. Go to wallet. Turn on. There, like that. You could do something like that. It's like literally up above them as they come in. You could always use the that. Um It is 29 degrees Fahrenheit where Mary is. Finally, some sunshine, maybe above freezing by noon. Make sure you go, Mary, if you're not used to snow, make sure you go around the exterior of your house and push the snow back so it's not melting into your windows and stuff. Because you probably don't have that. Whatnot Louise says you can drop in show title or show notes. I would definitely put it at the top of your show notes as well. Yeah, that absolutely. Whatnot Louise. Alex Storshare said I had someone almost 200 pounds and Whatnot just automatically created 4 labels. Yeah. Make mine beautiful. I would message them. I'd start a new message at seller support at whatnot.com. Make sure you put their username and the information and the screenshots and the order numbers and let them know. Good morning, everybody. Momo's Home Harmony had their first show. Everyone, please follow Momo's Home Harmony. Oh, good gosh. Absolute Big Deal says just avoided a 50-car pileup, 3 fatalities. The 401 is closed in both directions, Brighton to Shannonville. Oh no, that's so sad. Why do people drive like maniacs in the winter? Be Kind DIY says, I'm always shocked with people that have a hard time reaching Whatnot. They always reply to me so quickly. I don't always get quick replies. I don't always get quick replies. But when I do get the wrong reply, and I sometimes get the wrong reply because I swear that some of them are just not like they're not reading, they're skimming, or there's some robot doing it. Oh God, can't even see. Ugh. It needs to air dry now, or it's gonna get stuck up like that. Okay, there we go. Good morning, Big Daddies. Okay, all right. So thank you so much to Whatnot Louise. You go do your thing. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you for helping spearhead the weekly bundling program. We're very excited to be using it. So if you haven't learned, if you just come in and you're like, what's weekly bundling, go to your email. I won't repeat myself again today. I will do it again later. But I'm going to take off. I'm going to take off because I will be back on later on this afternoon. I think I have it at 12:30. I think I'm going to put it to 1:30. Just give myself some time to have something to eat and reorganize this area so I can sell. I've got a whole bunch of mishmash of little things that we're going to go through. It's kind of a weird mix, a lot of toys and stuff. So I'm going to try and set this up. So I have to reorganize this whole area so I can do that. Let's find someone to raid. Let's see. And thank you everybody for hanging out. I love you guys so much. Who's on? Oh, what Liz Lex is on? What Liz doing? All right, Canadian. Let's go into K. Mind Your Ink. who's doing Paint With Me K. Ross style. Woo! Like Bob Ross. Bob Ross style. Okay. I love you guys so much. I'm not coming that way for sure. I love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to go fix my hair if I can. Dear Lord. It's still so wet. And I will see you later on today, maybe. Or Thursday is my next chat show. All right. Love you. Let's go.